My philosophy back then was to bring to the world artists that live this music, breathe this music, and die this music. I've always want to give this bandstand to artists that really want to be here. So it's not a gig where they just hit it and quit it. My name's Michael Cloeren, founder and producer of the Pocono Blues Festival, which started in 1992, and now it's the Pennsylvania Blues Festival, and we're celebrating 22 years of blues in the beautiful Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. Born in 1957 in Philadelphia, PA, like many people my age in their mid-50s, I was a big fan of the British invasion, specifically Eric Clapton, the Rolling Stones. And March 30th, 1975, I had the pleasure of going to the Philadelphia Spectrum where the Philadelphia Flyers play hockey. And lo and behold, the opening act for Eric Clapton was the Muddy Waters Blues Band from Chicago. And it changed my life.
Got back late, found a note there waiting, saying, Donna just can't wait, and we get together.
The connection was the feel. You know, it was, even though there were 17,000 people in attendance, it was like Muddy was such an electrifying performer. It was like he played to you, and it just got to my soul. And it was like a hammer hitting you on the head. That I knew this is what I want to do musically my whole life. I was pretty blessed in Philadelphia in the 1980s and early 1990s was a pretty vibrant blues scene. I had the pleasure of seeing John Lee Hooker, Johnny Clyde Copeland, Albert King, Albert Collins, Coco Taylor, Ray Charles, in venues in Philadelphia. I've been in the ski industry my whole life, from 1976 to 2010. And what hit me was that the venue where I worked, Big Boulder Ski Area in the Poconos, was a natural amphitheater. And I thought I could combine my passion for music and skiing in a venue and keeping the vision of those great artists that I just mentioned and making a real blues festival for artists that need it and deserve wider recognition. Shake it, baby. I wanna see you go. Excuse me, my baby. The first event was July 30th and 31st, 1992. So we had 2 months to get the word out. And the first year, my programming budget was $18,000. And I was blessed to have Johnny Clyde Copeland, Sun Seals, Lonnie Brooks, Willie Kent and the Gents, Big Jack Johnson, Debbie Davies, Mojo Buford. So it was really a wonderful event. It was a 2-day event, and we had about 1,600 people there each day.
Michael Cloeren is one of the finest gentlemen that I ever met. I worked with him 3 or 4 times. I believe it's my 2nd or 3rd time being on this festival. I have been here for quite some time. He was one of the few guys who allowed me to do what I do and cross over and never cross out my blackness. And I appreciate him and what he thought about me as an artist, as an entertainer, as a music man, as a blues man.
What makes this festival unique for me is I get a chance to hang out with some of the best blues artists in the world, and actually get a chance to call them my family after I get a chance to meet them.
Well, what makes this festival unique is the person that sponsored it, Michael Cloeren. He's a very good person that loved the blues, he loved the soul. And that's what makes this festival unique, and the person he is and the people that come to it. He's the very best.
The urgency we have in our music, as you well know, the past 10 years, we can list dozens and dozens of artists that we know and love that are no longer with us. Even as important as that, we can list hundreds and hundreds of blues fans that were ambassadors to this music in the 80s, in the 90s, in 2000. They're no longer with us. So after doing this for 22 years, the biggest challenge I can foresee is educating a new generation of the public on what you and I know as far as real deal artists.
Oh, the Titanic left Southampton with all their sport and game. But when they struck that iceberg, you know their lives was changed. Well, did you know God moved on the water? April the 14th day.
After 19 successful years of the Pocono Blues Festival that brought in tens and tens of thousands of guests from 30 states and several countries, November 15, 2010, I was brought into my boss's office. The HR director was there, the general manager was there, my boss was there. Didn't get a warm and fuzzy feeling. They said they're going in a different direction. So after being in Jack Frost and Big Boulder for 20 years, I was gone in 20 minutes. So that was November 15, 2010. The next 60 to 90 days was pretty devastating for me. Started doubting myself, and never being unemployed since I was 16, and I was 54 at the time. But thank God for good friends that got me through it. And as you know the saying, one door closes, another one opens. It was true. It's almost like you come full circle. It's almost like a blues song where you've had some negativity, some challenges in your life, but the resiliency, all these artists that we know and love, we learn from. And to me, it's almost like a blues story where you just got to just keep rope-a-doping like Muhammad Ali. You got to keep bobbing and weaving, and everything will be okay. You got good friends, you got family, and if you're doing it for the right reasons, it might be challenges on that road ahead, but in the long road, it's going to work out.
Come in, you hug me like you love me, smiling in the afterglow. Hug me like you love me. Yeah.
I love what I do. It's not a job to me. I've been really blessed